after 5 days of shoot, the music video is ready. We are all thrilled. Euphoria is like over the moon. Then we get to know that there is some legal issue with that particular song and it's not going to get released. And you know, I'm telling you, I was convinced that main Panwati thi. But my first ever shot on celluloid in cinema was with Soumitra. Can you believe it? Mr. Bachchan entered and he came and said, Vidya Balan, you know, in that baritone. And he said, when I saw Parineeta, I couldn't take my eyes off you. The image of Parineeta was so strong that they felt that I had a traditional image. And everyone would say, you know, we want to make you look younger and we want to make you look sexy. The films in question being Hey Baby and Kismet Connection. And both films went on to do great business. But I was like, you know, ये मेरे लिए बाएं हाथ का खेल है. और जो फटाक थप्पड़ पड़ी उसके बाद, you know, I was criticized for everything. I did Kismet Connection. Someone called me and said, you know, Shahid is 2 years younger than you and you're being cast opposite him. And, you know, therefore, you have to shed weight and make sure you look even younger than him. And I said, you know, I've said thank you to Dada many, many, many times. But maybe one of these days I should just go to office, hold his hand and say, Dada, whatever I am is thanks to, you know, Parineeta. My father one day tells me, I'm going to go to Karan Johar's office and ask him if he knows any boy he can set you up with. Guess who actually played Cupid? It was Karan. Mr. Chopra, he said, तेरा नाक बहुत लंबा है. Surgery करवाते हैं. मैं डर गई. I came back and I spoke to Dada and I told him, Dada, आप संभाल लो. मेरी नाक
Hi, welcome to In the Ring. How do you encapsulate 20 years of a charmed existence? How do you encapsulate 20 years of seamless performances? Performances like waves lapping a seashore. I interviewed her many, many moons ago, and the interview was quite jinxed because it was pouring heavily in Bombay. Then we went on to do the interview later and we got to know each other. Needless to add, at the risk of sounding extremely biased, she's one of the most favorite person I know in the business and a favorite of mine. Like I said, it's too early to call her a legend. Suffice to say, she's an actor with a lot of spine and soul. I'm in conversation with my most favorite, Vidya Balan.
Oh.
Thank you for being in conversation with me.
Finally!
Finally.
Huh? We've done so many in print and one video.
Yeah, one video.
But I'm glad this is happening.
Yeah. And how, na? Suddenly, out of the blue. So, 20 years of a charmed existence. How do you look back at it?
You know, it's a bit surreal because it feels like, oh my God, it's been only 20 years. And then I also feel like, it's been 20 years. But that's because I also started late, right?
Why do you feel you started late?
Vidya
Sinha did Rajnigandha when she was 27.
Really? I didn't know that. Yeah, I did Parineeta. Parineeta released when I was 26.
Okay.
So I think if you're named Vidya, then maybe you're late bloomers. But bloomers nonetheless.
Yeah.
No, but because, you know, conventionally, I think most actresses started earlier. I remember by the time I was being launched, a lot of the actresses were getting married. And at that time, getting married meant you were probably going to go slower, if not give up films. So I think a lot has changed since. But I feel it's been amazing, Jitesh. Touch wood. I wouldn't have it any other way. Right? It's there have been ups and downs, but there are like ups and downs in life. And I think I don't take life that seriously anymore. I think I used to, I don't know whether it's because, uh, in Tamil, my mother always says, "Nee pinjila partai." For obviously people who don't understand Tamil, that you bloom before
Your time.
you blossomed into a flower without really being a bud. So it's like she was telling me that she's always told me that I've always been like mature, understanding, but now I feel finally in my 40s, I'm so much lighter mentally, emotionally. I think all that also, I guess because I started late, I always felt like, oh my God, there's so much catching up to do, right? But I think therefore and I didn't know how long this is going to last because I don't come from a film family. You've heard all kinds of stories and you're navigating your way through this place which feels like a maze. You take everything seriously, everything written about you, everything said about you, and it becomes so big in your head. And this is what you've dreamt of all your life, and not so much the fame. But I love the fact that I get to do this for a living, that I get to act for a living. I feel so blessed. But it comes with so much else, right? So, and that was not something I was prepared for. So I think now I'm just like easy. I'm like fully comfortable with who I am, what I say, what I think, what I feel. I think,
I get it.
yeah,
I
yeah.
get it. What were there any biases and prejudices that you faced? Were there any sort of I don't know how it was in the 90s. I mean, when you came, I remember I was backstage when you won the debut award, and that was
2005,
in
yeah.
fact actually your and my coming coincides. My
Yes.
my years as an editor coincides with your debut award in 2006.
I remember that
Yeah.
first interview when you were supposed to come over. And
Yeah,
then
it
you
was
called
raining,
me
yeah.
and said, it's raining.
My car broke down.
Yes. And I actually thought you were lying. I have to admit it today.
You remember the rains in Bob?
I
It was
do,
crazy.
but I just felt like, maybe the editor of Filmfare
I
finds
hadn't become editor then. I was with
No.
Sunday Review, so we used to do the Sunday column. So you were the star of the fortnight kind of thing. So I was coming.
You Sunday Review.
Yeah.
But I think I just felt like, I didn't know how it works, right? I was like, you didn't show up because you probably thought, this newbie, why should I be going over to her house?
Who only 100 people wanted to interview every day. No, but my first, this is when you won the Filmfare debut award. I remember you were coming from Shirdi. And, I remember Sukanya was on the phone. Where have you reached? Where have you reached? Rani Mukherjee won the best actress that year.
For Black.
For Black. And you won the debut.
Yeah.
But be that as it may, I was just thinking, were there any kind of prejudices and biases that you had to encounter around that? Were there like heroines have to be a certain way? Was there anything that you while you were working?
Not that I faced anything on a one-to-one, but of course in print because, initially. No, actually, what am I saying? I remember after Parinita was such a huge success and it did so much for me, right? I feel like so fortunate that being a non-film kid, I had that kind of a debut. It's a dream debut. Even today, there are not that many actors. The only other actor I can think of is Hrithik Roshan in Ka Hona Pyar Hai. Very rarely do actors get these kind of debuts, So I think I was so happy, and overnight everyone had gotten to know me. I got the Filmfare Best Debut. I was getting awards at other places and I was getting invited. I was getting opportunities from big directors and all that. But, every time I went for a photo shoot, I have to tell you this, they'd say, we want to try something new with you. And I'd be like, but what have you seen of me to try something new? Because I think the image of Parinita
So
was
sad.
so strong that they felt that I had a traditional image. And everyone would say, we want to make you look younger and we want to make you look sexy. And uh, I was game. But, after a while, it began to grate because I was like, I'm a woman. I'm not a girl. I was 26. And I already felt like a woman, and I felt like I was being tried to, and not so much in film, but during the photo shoots, that would irritate me no end. And I think I used to be very conscious therefore because I constantly felt like I had to behave younger and I didn't know how to. So I was like, and I didn't know the ways, Jitesh. I didn't know how you pose. It's not like I would go through film magazines and say, "Oh, this is how I should be doing it." The only thing I was interested in is acting.
Or cut international.
No, no, no. I'd not even seen any international magazines. So for me, my only focus was performance. So I was like, but I feel so great when I'm on a set. I'm working with some big directors. There was Rajkumar Santoshi, there was Nikhil Advani, there was Mani Ratnam. I was working with some big producers, Nadia Adwala, Akshay, actors. I- it was like,
Did you hack the system then, or were you like at sea? Because you're like complete outsider, no godfathers, no nothing.
no, nothing. And I didn't know who to ask. I didn't know who to ask. I always felt very conscious. Like I know there are people, I've heard of actors who, and it happens to me now, where when you work with other actors, they come and ask you questions about your process and about your journey. And I never, even when I worked with Mr. Bachchan or with Nasir Saab, I never ever asked any questions. I would just keep to myself. I'd have, I'd be laughing and having fun on set with the rest of the unit, but I wouldn't cross any boundaries with them. It was like, Jitesh, it was unbelievable. I remember, I'll tell you what happened on the sets of Eklavya. So I enter the set, and they have these chhatris in Rajasthan.
Yeah.
So I was standing on top of a chhatri, and Mr. Bachchan entered, and he came and said, Vidya Balan, in that baritone. And he said, when I saw Parinita, I couldn't take my eyes off you. I was
Melted.
But no, I don't know what happened to me. I forgot to get off the chhatri. He was down. I was standing up, and my DOP is pulling my hand like that. Finally, I realized. I said, "What?" He said, "Come down," because it was like I was taller than Mr. Bachchan. I was standing there and just like, and then he said, "Come, come, I'll show you. I want to show you the edit of a scene. Vinod, can I take her to the edit?" And then Vinod Chopra, Mr. Bachchan and me, we went to the edit because, sorry, he wanted to see something that we had already shot, that Vinod and I had shot. So he said, okay, come, let's go to the edit. Let's see it. And I was like, what is all this happening?
Surreal.
Amitabh Bachchan knows me. He's acknowledging me. He's just complimented me. It was unbelievable, Jitesh. So I was loving all of that, right? And then there was this other thing that, but you have to, there was this other chatter that, but you have to um, look young if you want to work with some of the actors. I remember before I did Kismat Connection, someone called me and said, Shahid is 2 years younger than you, and you're being cast opposite him, and therefore. You have to shed weight and make sure you look even younger than him. And of course, the world has changed now. But I think there was all kind. I didn't
So it's
ever
very
understand.
subtle body shaming and all of that.
Yeah. No, but I'll tell you what. Until 2017, on every single 2019, on every single film, I'd get a call from the producer or director. They'd ask for a meeting and they'd say, "Can you shed some weight?" And I'd be like, "Listen, I'm not sitting on my haunches doing nothing. You know, if I could, I'd do it for myself, forget for any film. But those things are not nice, Jitesh. I'm saying if you want someone with a different kind of body, go to that person. You want someone like me with my kind of person, then come to me. Because, you know, even for the most regular, like to play the most regular characters, they would want me to be thinner. And of course, there was a phase when I had put on a lot of weight, right? And I was
And you were also exercising like a maniac.
like a beast. And today I realized what I was doing. You know, today there is the awareness that, oh, I was actually harming myself. My body was in distress and I was so frustrated. I was barely eating. I was killing it in the gym. And, you know, I kept feeling like, oh, maybe I'm not pushing myself enough. And I had a trainer for many, many, many years who was also frustrated because he could see, he would say, you know, you are better than any of my other clients. The energy you give it, the dedication, you don't miss a single workout. Why are you not?
So it was a hormonal issue.
It was a hormonal issue. And I think no one was able to figure out what is it that was a problem, right? Which I've spoken about it. I've told you about it.
Correct.
About this diet that I've been on for the past 1.5 years, where they figured that there are lots of regular foods that I eat that had not been suiting me. So once you figure that, that's really helpful. But you know, I cannot even begin to tell you, Jitesh, I used to have severe body pain because my recovery used to take that much more time. But I would go back to the gym. I would kill myself more. I would kill myself more than go to shoot. And every time I was looking more and more and more swollen. You know, and it was not for lack of effort, right? But it's just, I have to tell you this, even at what I thought was my thinnest, I had people telling me, why don't you shed some weight? I was like, what is this you're after, you know? But thankfully, my career just panned out the way it did. And I think because I was not going to let this get in the way.
You owned your curves, you owned your performances. More power to you.
Thank you.
But tell me something. There was a lot of to and fro. I remember, correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember, you had done K. Balachandar. Were you supposed to do a Malayalam film, a Tamil film with K. Balachandar, and somehow all that came unstuck, no?
You know, I was doing Chakram with
Mohanlal
sir and Dilip, a film that was being directed by Kamal sir.
Kamal.
Not Kamal Hassan.
Who later offered you that biopic
Ami.
of Ami.
So, we did the film, we shot one schedule, but Kamal sir and Lal sir had some issues. So, after shooting for some 10 days or so, suddenly they decided that they're going to just
abandon the project.
No, pause, like take a break from that schedule. So we all came back, but we thought we were going to resume.
Yeah.
And then come back to Bombay. And I'm waiting. This happened in May. In September, I get a call on my landline from Lal sir. He was, Mohanlal. He was doing, there was this play that he was doing. Karnabharam. So he called to invite us for the show because my mom and I were both on that shoot. So, and he took that opportunity to tell us that that film is not happening. We didn't even know. And what happened between May and September is I had been signed on for a whole bunch of other films. And once the word got out that this film has been shelved in September, all those films replaced me. And I'm not talking 1 or 2 or 3 films. You know, almost 8, 9 films. And I was
in Malayalam and Tamil.
In Malayalam.
And by then, Bhalu Theko had come?
No.
Oh, it had not come.
It hadn't come.
Much later.
That was much later. So I was like, what is happening? Let's not name anyone. I also did a Tamil film in the interim and I was very uncomfortable on set. So I left the film. I remember they sent me a legal notice. And at the age of 22, I'd received a legal notice, and I didn't know what a legal notice was until then. Someone rang the bell, and we lived in Chembur. You went and opened the door yourself. It was not like you had a 24-hour maid or something.
Yeah.
I went and opened the door, and this guy said, "आपके लिए registered post hai." I said, "Okay." Sign करके दे दिया. I kept it there. I left it. I was like, what could it be? My father deals with everything, so must be something for him in the evening. He came and saw this, and he said they've sent a legal notice. Of course, then we replied to it, and it just
They were being inappropriate on the set.
no,
or
they were
what
not being inappropriate or anything, but just the content of it
bothered you?
bothered me, and I had not been told that it was that kind of film. Where when I say that kind of film, it's just because I was unfamiliar with the language. They had just narrated the story to me, and I had said yes on the
This is a
basis
Malayalam or a
of
Tamil?
Tamil film.
Tamil film.
But when I went to set, the kind of humor in the scenes felt like it was slightly
Off.
I was not comfortable.
Was that film made eventually?
Yes, it was made, but I just shot for a day.
Okay.
So I got out of that, but it was crazy. And then, I got signed by K. Balchandar sir for 2 films. I was like, oh my God, Ek Duje Ke Liye. And of course, so many other Tamil films.
Apurva Ragangar.
Yeah, Apurva Ragangar. So I said, okay, I was thrilled. But when I met him, I told him, I'm not comfortable with kissing and things like that. I was a very young girl, and I thought, because in Ek Duje Ke Liye I'd seen a kiss, and some other film also, I said that, I'm not comfortable with any of that, and it was like, fine. Again, we were supposed to go to New Zealand for shoot, and we were supposed to go in Feb end, and around Feb 11th, I remember telling my mom, but won't they need visas? They've not taken our passports. So my I was getting because now 8, 9 films had already not worked out, right? Almost 10 now, including the Tamil film. So I said, just call and ask. So my mother called Balchandar sir's daughter, and she said, the thing is that he feels that it's a romantic film. It was his 100th film, I think. She said he doesn't want to be tied down by these things. If in a romantic
thing,
like that I won't do a kissing scene or something like that. But it's just that I was going through one of those times where, anything you touched seemed not to work out, but it was heartbreaking. That was the day, I've told you this story, that was the day I went to watch Filhal with a college friend of mine. And then I walked back from Nariman Point to Bandra in the scorching sun. And I realized that I reached Bandra. It was crazy. Because I was like, what the hell is happening? Now, by now, the count was 11, 12 films.
You had been dropped.
Yeah. And a lot of those other Malayalam films, they had spoken, they narrated story to me. They had no contracts were signed in those days. They had talked clothes. They had discussed dates. And then one after the other, we would get to know from the magazines. In those days, because I was doing a Malayalam film and there were some articles about me, there's excitement. So we started calling for Malayalam magazines at home. And that's when my mom would say, weren't you supposed to do this film? And it was, I remember one very kind man, a journalist who lived in Chembur, came to my house one day. He said, I heard of what happened to you. I think it's absolutely unfair. I'm willing to put out a fake story saying you've been signed by some big banners because that will help break the jinx. Everyone was...
You were this jinxed actor.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Even before becoming an actor,
Imagine.
I was jinxed. So, I said no. My father was very confused. My mother was like, they didn't know whether this is how it works because we don't know. I said, no, if that's how I have to get work, I don't want to get work. I don't want fake stories put out. And which stays
To date.
the case to date.
You're one of the few people who have stayed consistently away from any kind of
Yeah, because I feel
pulling down other co-stars. I've noticed that. I think you're in a minority of 1%.
you're also partial to me, but I'm not complaining. But it was so after those 12 films, Jitesh, I remember I did an ad film with Pradeep Sarkar. When I did the ad film, the shoot went off fine and all. And then I didn't hear from them for any audition. I met one of his assistants during Mami. I'd gone for Mami and I met her and she said, "Hi, how are you? What are you up to?" I said, "Listen, you all do so many music videos. Call me for an audition, na?" She said, "You know what? We've stopped doing music videos." I said, "Don't tell me." I said, "But if you ever do a music video, you have to call me." She said, "Cool." And they were casting for Euphoria's Kabhi Aana Tu Meri Gali. When they suggested my name to Dada, Dada apparently said, "नहीं यार वो मुझे बहुत अच्छी लगती थी पर वो जब उस वो ऐड करने के लिए आई ना तो उसकी आंखों में वो चमक नहीं थी because he didn't know I was going through all that I was. I think I was just like, at that time, you won't believe it, Jitesh. I was watching, someone sent me a clip of Kranti Redkar because all of us were doing ad films at the same time. She said if Vidya Balan entered, then you knew that you were not going to get the ad film. But this was a time when even ad films I was confirmed for would slip out of my hands. So it was just a crazy period of 3 years. And I was losing my confidence. I was feeling like I'm jinxed. And then this thing happened. That I of course got to know this later, but finally they weren't finding anyone. So there was Dada's assistant Lynn, who was my senior at Xavier. So she apparently said, "Why don't we try Vidya anyway?" So they called me, and coincidentally at that time, when I went for the audition, Dada came into office. And he saw what I was doing and said, "Okay, I feel there's something." I got confirmed for it. But you will not believe it. We shot the music video. It was great fun. By the end of the first day, Dada looked at me and said, "Hey, ladki, tere saath picture banaunga." And I was like, "Bahut aaye, bahut gaye." But anyway, I was, you always hope. After 5 days of shoot, the music video is ready. We are all thrilled. Euphoria is like over the moon.
Polash and all.
Yeah, Polash and gang. And then we get to know that there is some legal issue with that particular song and it's not going to get released. And I'm telling you, I was convinced that main Panwati thi. I was like, okay, now this is confirmation of the fact that maybe this is not meant for me because I'm jinxing other people. But thankfully, in a few days, that issue got sorted. The music video got released, and the next thing you know is Dada was casting me in ad films because he had decided that he wanted to make his first feature film with me. I didn't know. I was happy that I was, getting to work with him. I'd watched all his music videos and I thought, oh, wow, Ab Ke Sawan,
Yeah.
Euphoria's Mairi. Yeah, so many, then Piya Basanti Re. So many.
All are done by Dada.
All are done by Dada. The best music videos, the Indian music videos at that time were all done by Dada. It was and he had this style where, I think some of the international videos also used it, where he always had a scene which segued into the song. So it was like suddenly I was alive again. Someone was showing faith in me. Someone wanted to cast me. Yeah, really. I didn't know that at that time. But I was just on the 20th anniversary of Parinita. I spoke to Mr. Chopra. I spoke to Dada's wife, and it was very, it's unbelievable that, like I said, 20 years is not a long time, and he's not there. He's not there.
He really believed in you, no?
He believed
I have to
when I
slightly
didn't believe in myself.
Yeah. And also, apparently, you went like Vinod Chopra wasn't convinced, and you had some 36 auditions.
No, that number is fake. But yes, it happened over a period of time.
Did he ask you to redo your nose
Yes,
and all
yes.
that? I remember
He
that.
said, तेरा नाक बहुत लंबा है, सर्जरी करवाते हैं. मैं डर गई. I was like, I'm not going. I'll tell you why. One, I believe that to this date, right, I have not touched my face. I get a facial done once in a while, and that's about it. I'm very particular कि जैसा है वैसा है, भगवान ने दिया है, बहुत अच्छा दिया है.
Very good.
But during my Malayalam film, they said, there's Manju Warrior, there's Samyukta Verma. They use their community names as their surnames.
Yeah.
So you should also be called Vidya Iyer, not Vidya Balan. I changed my name to Vidya Iyer after I cried. But my parents said you'll always be Vidya Balan. But again, they didn't know, right? They said if this is the way of the industry, then like you have the director, producer, the writer, and everyone tell you. And they were like, you are an Iyer anyway, so it's okay. And then that film didn't happen. So I was very sure that if it's something that I'm not sure of doing, then it will definitely not work out. So when Mr. Chopra told me, I was like, मैं डर गई. I came back and I spoke to Dada and I told him, Dada, आप संभाल लो, मेरी नाक literally also. He said, नहीं, मैं manage कर लूँगा. And I was watching a video of him where he's spoken about, this is during Parinita, where he's instructing the entire team about how he said, if Vidya works, this film works. Because Lolita is Parinita, right? And
Goshmi told me she also had done Parinita.
of course she had.
Did you meet her?
I met her after the release.
Oh, you met after that.
I met her after the release. I remember K.S. Sanjay, my then manager, took me to meet her. And I love her smile. And I love how bindas she is. I saw her interview with you. What a riot. I was at a salon once with her. And I have to tell you that she's so open. She was saying all sorts of things. And I was looking around saying, कोई सुन तो नहीं रहा. और हमारी industry तो इससे तो कोई नहीं है ना. Otherwise, what
she's lovely. Yeah.
What a spirit, even the way she's dealt with, her daughter's passing. It's incredible. I went over a few days after her daughter passed, and she was not stoic. She was not putting up a brave front, but it's almost like she had realized. I'm sure she went through a lot of grief. I'm sure she still does, right? But there's something I think she's understood that has allowed her to process this in the way that she.
Even I sense that it's some strange sort of resilience.
Oh, some. Because some people become their personalities change.
Yeah.
They're not able to, and it's a big loss, right? But I love the fact that she's just remained. Yeah, completely digressed from Parinita, but
from your nose.
Yeah, so, and Dada was like, if Lolita works, Parinita works. So we have to all focus on making her look her best. And I think, therefore, then he, of course, got me into he made sure that I understood my angles, and I was wedded to that for a while until I realized that that's limiting me at a certain. In Parinita, he was structuring every shot to bring out the best in me. And anyway, he was a true artist.
Yeah,
you had to see the way he'd sketch. Every shot was on paper. Because he'd do a shot breakdown even for his ad films.
Yeah.
To his very last ad film, I believe, he had a pink plastic folder. I'll never forget. His shot breakdown was always in that. And I wish
was Madhavi Di the reference, Charulata?
I think there are shots where
even the piano is so chini-go-chini.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But that I've done a music video with Madhavi Di. And you know how that happened, no? That's crazy. One day he tells me, I met Madhavi Di in Kolkata. And, I want to cast both of you together. And Shubha Mudgal was she had done Abke Savan with Dada. She had done that other Seekho na
Naino ki
bhasha piya. So after that, it was this Kisson ki Chadar. So she said, so he said, you know, I have this grandmother granddaughter story that I want to use in this. So I'm going to cast her and you. He went and spoke to her. She agreed. And we went to Calcutta for an ad film shoot. Luckily, so he said, we'll stay back an extra day and we'll go and visit her. So it was Dada, Bodhi, as in Dada's wife, one of Lynn and me. We went to Madhavidi's house. And I went with really big glasses, Jitesh. And when I went in, you know, she saw me, but she was like, you know, I think she was like anyone would be with a new person, right? And she was speaking to Dada and Bodhi in Bengali and all. And then she started showing us pictures. In one of the pictures, she had the same sunglasses that I was wearing that day. It was uncanny.
That's bizarre.
It was absolutely uncanny. And then I went in to help her with just to, you know, and
Familiarize.
my God, Charulata.
Yeah.
I went in to help her with bringing the tea out. She brought the tea out for us herself.
Was Chili Gold playing in the background? And
Oh my God. And she came out with, you know, she served us herself and all that. And I was over the moon. Then we shot that and she was so lovely. She was so lovely. And I was like, okay, I couldn't work with Ray. I could at least work with his muse.
Yeah.
It was absolutely lovely. I remember when I was doing an ad film many.
Yeah, there's so many shots in Mahanagar, that you remind me of her. Like, you know, there are certain scenes. So it's uncanny. It's
You know,
uncanny.
of all of Ray's films, Mahanagar is my most favorite. Most favorite. And that scene in the bathroom when the Anglo-Indian gives her the red lipstick. And it was 100 years of Ray to 4 years ago. I think so. So there was an exhibition and Siddharth got me one of the original posters of Mahanagar, which I have in my dressing room right next to the mirror because he also got me a massive Charulata poster and you will not believe it. The girl who, my house help, the girl passed by and she said, "Oh, Didi, ये आपकी कौन सी picture है? मैंने नहीं देखी." You know, and I said, "Nee, this is not me," but it's very,
yeah, but it's uncanny some the resemblance, like especially in Mahanagar.
Yeah,
there's certain scenes, you know, especially in the office and all, and when you're walking on the streets, you know, so much. Not you, Madhavi. There's so much, so much. I think the body language is also a lot similar.
It's a huge compliment. So thank you. But also, you know, I think the way a lot of the shots were thought of, like in that music video, I remember there was a shot of the newly married bride, which is actually Madhubhi Dhi, you know, who's making tea, and suddenly you see her husband, he finds her hairpin and he just smells it. It's a moment from
Apur
Samsar.
Yeah.
So I think Dada was hugely influenced. Who is not?
Yeah.
But it was I think a lot of that shot also, na, where you see you see my eyes for the first time in Parinita. It's through that window, through the flash.
You find her with you also, no?
Oh no,
No, that's
that's Charulata.
Yeah.
So I think Dada was.
Yeah.
And it was.
Was he miffed with you when you didn't do Laga Chunri?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Didn't speak to me for. I used to call him every single day. And he didn't speak to me for what? 2-3 years?
Yeah.
And.
But there was no role in the other.
But I think he felt that whatever it was, you should have had the faith that I would have made something of it. Whereas I felt that. You know, to my mind, it didn't feel, more than anything else, that story didn't quite resonate with me. So I just felt like, oh, it's not for lack of a better word, I just felt it was a bit dated. So I said no. And I don't think he could. I struggled with it a lot, Jitesh, because it's like, it's Dada.
Saying no to Dada.
Yeah, saying no to Dada was very, very, very tough. And he didn't speak to me. I keep calling him. He wouldn't talk. He'd say, huh. And I'd say, kaise, Dada? He'd say, huh, theek hai. It was that kind of thing. Then finally, I don't know, he came to me with another film, which also I didn't end up doing. And he was very angry. And it's so sad that someone who I feel so much gratitude towards, I didn't manage to, after a while, it almost became difficult to keep in touch because I was in touch with him once in a while, but because I was also feeling misunderstood. I was feeling like, why won't you respect why I'm not doing the film? It's not because I don't trust you. It's because the matter does not resonate with me. Do I not have a right to say no to you? It was, and I remember at that time, someone said to me, um, she said, don't let gratitude become a noose around your neck.
Which is what happens with all of us.
With all of us. But it's so tough, right? And I would have liked to be in touch with him. And when he passed away, I remember
I saw you so broken.
I was shattered. I'll tell you why. Because on the 22nd of March, I was in Goa. I met Ninad Kamath. No, Ninad Kamath messaged me. And for something. And suddenly, I began to go through, I began to think of our Parinita days and everything. And I said, I've said thank you to Dada many, many, many times. But maybe one of these days I should just go to office, hold his hand and say, Dada, whatever I am is thanks to, Parinita. Sorry, I just got. So, on the 22nd of March, I thought that. And I came back to Bombay. It was midnight and I said, should I message him and ask him if he's free tomorrow? I said, no. 23rd is my sister's birthday. So I said, forget it. I'll do it after her birthday, the day after. And 24th morning, I woke up to the message that he's no more. And I think, I've said thank you to him many, many times. But because we didn't stay in touch, and I feel like, I don't know if he ever understood, Jitesh. And I feel like maybe, I hope he knows how I feel. That's all. I keep telling myself that someday you'll meet him, but I think that's why it hit me. It hit me very, very, very hard. I was beyond shattered when Dada passed, and this past week has been very, very tough because I just felt like, it's all a regurgitation of the same thing. And I feel like maybe I was immature. Maybe I just should have barged into his office and said, why are you so angry with me? Aren't you proud? Whatever I'm doing is because of all that I've learned from you. But I don't know whether it was ego. I don't know. I also didn't do it, and I hope someday, firstly, I hope he knows it, and I hope someday.
See, there's so much unfinished business in all our lives. And you said an interesting thing about gratitude. You said no gratitude. A lot of sometimes when you're grateful to a lot of people who are grateful to you are also resentful. It's a very strange,
Yeah.
it's a very mixed emotion that one feels.
But I have to tell you, you know, what happened after that, it was crazy. So 2023, March 24th, Dada passed away. And then suddenly I'm doing my prayers and I thought of the director, my Bengali director who launched me.
I was just going to talk to you about Gautam
Yeah,
Haldar.
Gautam Da.
Because Rakhi ji has worked with him
Yes.
in a film.
Yes, absolutely.
It's crazy. You'll be even thinking.
Yeah.
I was just going to ask you about Gautam Haldar.
Crazy. So I get out of the puja room. I call his wife and I say, Bodhi, how's Gautam Da? And she says, you know, he's doing very well. He's in good health now. We're going off to the US on a 3-week holiday. They have a daughter. So they said the three of us are going off. He continued to direct plays on stage. So she said, we're going for some Bengali Association thing to the US. And I said, okay, so, you know, once you're back, let me know. Because the next time I come to Kolkata, I want to come and meet y'all. He comes back from the US. He calls me for a Durga Puja. So I said, okay, great. So I'll come and meet you at this event only. And then I went to his para, where his locality, where there was a Durga Puja, and spoke about him and all that. This was on October 16th. November 3rd, he just passed away. And I was like, again, too early, too young. It's unbelievable.
Again, your debut film.
Yeah, again, my debut film.
Technically, your debut film.
Technically, my debut film. And a lovely man. One of the gentlest souls. Every time he took me to Kalighat for the first time. And every time I visit Kolkata, I go to Kalighat without fail. And a lot of times I've been with him. That last trip on Mahalai, when I went to inaugurate the Durga Puja Pandal, we went to Kalighat together. Didn't know that it would be, you know, and then it was crazy, but I'm just grateful that I at least got to say bye to him, because he and I had also not been in touch for a while. You know, it's also, I don't know whether I'm just terrible at keeping in touch with people, which I am, I admit, but I also think it's the nature of this profession. You know, where you're working intensely with a set of people, and then you go on to the next project and you're working as intensely. It's impossible to keep in touch with
so many people.
So many people. And that intensity is, you know, is not sustainable anyway. So I think 2023 felt very, it was hard.
Oh.
It was hard because it was also, you know, you ask yourself all sorts of questions, and it's just, so you were talking about Rakhi ji having done a film with Gautam Da. And
because I was like, I would like to see that film. She says, I have no contact. I don't even know if that, now that I know you're in touch with Bodhi, maybe we can try and get.
No, absolutely. They've been trying to get it released. And it's been tough in the current market, right?
Also, the subject matter is tricky.
Yeah. So it's been tough. So I've been speaking to Bodhi on and off. That hasn't happened yet, but more than happy to Rakhi
just
to watch it.
Watch it. Yeah. When you talked about Bhalo Theko, Soumitra Chatterjee, I mean, imagine your range from Madhavi to Soumitra Chatterjee, from Amitabh Bachchan to Naseeruddin Shah. Do you at times feel overwhelmed? Like even say Parinita, you work with Sanjay Dutt and of course Saif Ali Khan. They were all huge movie stars, and you were coming from this absolute, and then you went on to form a lasting relationship with Rekha ji, who did a fantastic song in the film.
I will tell you the first time I walked into her van, I was not shooting for the song, right?
Okay.
I was not in the song, Kaisi Paheli Hai Ye Kaisi.
Yeah.
So, Dada called me to set because here I was going to see her. My father's favorite film is Koon Bari Mang. He can't say Koon. So he says Koon Bari Mang is a very good film. And I.
Coon. Hun.
Koon. And I was like, oh my God, Rekha. I remember my association with Filmfare and Rekha ji is pretty much the same. I remember seeing her picture in the Times of India for the first ever time. You know, it was a gold skirt and shirt or something like that she was wearing. And I was mesmerized. I was like, who's this ethereal creature? I had not seen any films before that. But so Dada called me to set and I knocked on her door tentatively. Raima and I walked in and she met me like we'd known each other forever. And I'm thinking, is she mistaking me for someone else? I've gone in with Raima, so maybe she thinks I don't know who. But she was so lovely and continues to be so lovely. Sorry, I had to.
And then, of course, Soumitra Chatterjee, who you worked with.
Yeah. And
did you tell him about Charulata? And
No. But my first ever shot
in the movie
on celluloid in cinema was with Soumitra. Can you believe it?
Wow.
And I was like, thankfully, it was a silent shot. And then in the second shot, I had to say something. No, I had to say Jatha Moshai. And I was like, that time I didn't know Jatha. I was like, Jetha.
Jetu
Yeah. But that's all I had to say. And I had to draw his attention to something. But it was amazing. We wrapped up the film in what, 18 days or something?
Which is the normal for a Bengali film.
Yeah, but we were shooting in a place called Falta, which was 1.5 hours away from Calcutta. And he would drive back home every day. I believe because he had I don't know how far it's true. This was a rumor on set that he used to be scared of staying in hotel rooms. I don't know if it's true or people made it up, but I've believed it to this date because he didn't stay in the hotel. Imagine 1.5 hours one way.
Even at 80 plus, he was acting in plays, he was writing, he was so amazing. He was so amazing. The movie industry, which welcomed you and all of that, were there any actors who left an impact on you? Anything that's a director or an actor said that stayed with you in a good way or a bad way? Was there anything? Like, I mean, you talked about Rekha ji welcoming you, and I mean, she continues to be a close family friend and all. But other than that, was there any actor who said something that impacted you or a director and had stayed with you, like a piece of advice?
No, but in my television days, I don't think I've taken anything that anyone said seriously, with no disrespect meant to anyone. But I think I started working when I was 15 and a half in television.
You did Hum Panch and all of that.
Even before Hum Panch, I did another show.
Oh, okay.
So, which never got released. But that was actually my launch. So, I remember observing actors. I would be like, okay, this is how I definitely don't want to be. Certain actors, not necessarily established. But I remember this one actor that I worked with who was very well established, who was very popular on television at that time. I just saw her and I decided, okay, that's the person I definitely don't want to be. She would be obnoxious. She would be nasty, and but I have to say there are very few of those that I've encountered. I think 99.99% people have been wonderful. And, angels show up everywhere and anywhere. And it's been, but there are those few people who've taught me that, oh, this is how I definitely don't want to be seen, forget by anyone else, even by myself. Some people are just difficult for the sake of it, and that's not something I appreciate. I just feel that not just difficult, nasty, political, I don't get all these things काम करने आए हो, काम करो, निकल
But does
जाओ.
it affect you on the set when you have a situation like are there films you'd rather not? You don't need to name names, but are there films that you'd rather not have done because the atmosphere was vitiated because of something?
No, actually, in films, I've not had that kind of experience at all, Jitesh. I see. Also, I did my first 3 films with Vinod Chopra Productions. That's like my alma mater. So I came from a very protected environment.
Solid.
It's very disciplined, very professional. All the prep was done beforehand. You didn't waste time on set. These are things that I learned early on, you know, and of course added to my South Indian discipline anyway. But I think um, I've never. I don't think actors even. Uh, I don't think I've been made to wait by any actor, any senior actor, really. Like a little bit here and there, half an hour, 45 minutes. But yeah, I think it's more than the actor, it's the unit that scurries around the male actors, and everyone and everything becomes secondary to that. I had a problem with that. I was like, we're all
Same.
yeah, we're all the same. Why do you have to, for example, when you're setting up a close-up, why do you have to do the male actors close-ups first? Why do you do it according to the scene, what is right for the scene? If this scene belongs to me, but then let me, shoot my close-ups first. So these are the subtle things, these power games that get played, I would not get. That's not the case anymore.
It's more woke time.
I don't know, just woke times. It's also probably because I'm now well established. But I think I saw that for many, many, many years.
True. Also, some way the kind of roles that you did came to embody a woman with agency.
Yeah.
Whether it was Kahani, or whether it was even something like Dirty Picture.
Yeah.
Did that put pressure on you? Like, do you feel an artist? A lot of people say you must separate the art from the artist. Artists are not as great as the art they put. But does it put pressure on you in terms of, do you feel uh, this is non-negotiable? I will do this in a film. I will not do this in a film.
No.
No.
No. See, if it does not, not because of the kind of work I've done or anything, but basically, if it does not bore well with me, if it doesn't sit well with me, then I won't do it. But that's been the case always. But it's not because I've done this kind of work and I need to keep up this image. I feel image is the biggest trap, and I'm constantly aware of the fact that I shouldn't be a slave to any kind of image. So when people tell me, oh, you're actually the torch bearer of female-led films and all of that, I keep saying I'm very grateful that I was at the right place at the right time, but I'm not here to give out any message. I've had the opportunity to tell very inspiring stories. But don't mistake that for I'm an actor. I want to do all kinds of work. I want to do something Chaplin-esque tomorrow. And if the comedy there requires me to do something absolutely ridiculous, I will do it. My only commitment is to I don't know, I don't like to describe it as art or craft or whatever, but to the actor in me. Not to the star or not to the image or not to. I love what I do, Jitesh, and I hope I get to do it.
And it shows on screen. More power to you.
Thank
20
you.
years and more to go. Tell me, when you read something on paper, like I'm playing Amitabh, you are playing Amitabh Bachchan's mother. For example, how do you process stuff like that?
I thought Balki had gone mad. I really thought. I was like, did you want to go to Nirupa Roy's house? This is not where she lives. No, I really thought when he came and told me, I want you and Abhishek to play Mr. Bachchan's parents. I was like, this is bizarre. You know, you can't wrap your head around it. He read out the script to me, and I have to say, when he read it out, I was like, oh, it's interesting. Then I read it quite a few times, and every time the actor in me said, do it. But I was scared because, anyway, people were telling me that if you want a long career, then you have to look young. And now, not only am I going to be a mother, I'm going to be mother to
Amitabh
the
Bachchan.
biggest star in India. So I was like, this is crazy. So I remember I got one writer friend and one ad film director friend to read it. And I asked both of them, and both of them said, you must do it. So I didn't pay attention to anyone else. I was at that time, I was learning that the only person I must listen to is me. Because I just learned some big lessons doing the kind of films that my heart was not in. So I think while the films did well, I didn't enjoy the process, and I think it showed. So I was like, I don't want to be in that situation ever again.
So you have been part of films where you were not happy being in it?
Yeah, there was a certain arrogance in me because I thought of myself as an actor, and here I was doing two typically commercial films, the films in question being Hey Baby and Kismet Connection. And both films went on to do great business. But I was like, this doesn't really require me to bring my A game to it. There was an arrogance.
So you're saying that embarrassment showed on screen?
No, not embarrassment, indifference. It was like I sleepwalked through them. It was like, ये मेरे लिए बाएं हाथ का खेल है. और जो फटाक थप्पड़ पड़ी उसके बाद, I was criticized for everything. For my weight, for my clothes. Thankfully, not for my performance, but I think when you're doing, you have to be true to whatever you do. The idiom of the commercial film requires you to be also not the character, but a star. Own how you look, celebrate. And I didn't do that.
Which you did in Dirty Picture.
Yes, I did.
You've done a lot of biopics. I mean, from Silk Smita to Shakuntala Devi, and I'm sorry if I'm missing out any other. But I'm just curious. I was always curious. Like, because I personally love Silk Smita. So, if you had to meet Silk Smita today or Shakuntala Devi, what are the kind of questions? What kind of, I mean, what is it about them that you would ask them?
That would they live their lives any differently? Because at the end of, there are two ways of looking at it, right? Silk ended her life
36, no?
at 36. And would she have made different choices in life? The other way to look at it is that she had made her choices and now she said, I'm done with this. And she packed her bags. But I don't know. I feel that because I always feel about anyone who takes their own life that, why just wait it out a little longer. I know that they feel whatever they feel, overwhelmed by circumstances and all that, but especially with her, right? She lived her life the way she did, yeah. And then to have, so what was it? Would she still end her life? These are the things that with Shakuntala Devi, I'd be like, just like, in her own estimation, who is she? Because I'm fascinated by her. The more I got to know her daughter through this process. As a matter of fact, Anu Menon, the writer director of the film, had spent 3 years doing interviews with Anu Banerjee, Shakuntala's daughter.
Combative daughter, mother.
Yes, it was. It was true what was shown in the film. was
So, do you feel it's not possible to I asked this because you're so successful in your career, and more power to you. You've been married 12
Thank you.
years and to many, many, many more. Is it that difficult to strike? A lot of actors I know closely say it's a very tight rope walk between straddling personal and professional.
I think especially for a woman at that time, I think it must have been. Because it's not, at least now, more women are stepping out, more women are working, more women are chasing their dreams, more women are successful, more women are leading lives on their own terms. And they're not defined by the men in their lives. But at that time, that was not the norm. Today, I still think I just think that it's not. I think marriage is not easy. When people used to say that, I'd be like, everyone says that, what rubbish. A whole lot of, a whole load of bull crap. But it's not, because you will, when it comes to family, your parents, your siblings and all, you've grown up with them. So now suddenly you're living with someone. And for two completely independent people, just to, and then in a very public profession, it takes time to sort of
Navigate it.
navigate. And anyway, I think for any two people living together, it's tough. And then given all these, um, you know, uh, these qualifications, I think it is difficult. But when you know that you want to make it work, Jitesh, I think you just do.
But
When
did you like, how did you, like you said, you've been married 12 years, like, there's a dating phase, okay, which I'm guessing in your case lasted for about 2-3 years.
2.5 years,
Good.
yeah.
And then there is, how do you navigate those changes?
Firstly, I didn't want to be married. I've said this to you.
Yeah.
I was like, marriage means domestication, so I'm not getting married. Then I dated a few people, hardly any, but whatever, and it didn't quite work out. But it served me enough fodder to feel the pain, and I romanticized pain and all at that time. But I met Siddharth, and then it felt like the most natural thing for us to be together. And then, therefore, when he brought up marriage, I was like, because my parents had started saying,
Also because he was married before, was there any
He-
kind of inhibition?
No, I have to say that there wasn't on the part of my parents at all. I feel it's incredible that when I told them that he's been married before, they were like, do you know why it didn't work out? And are you convinced? Are you convinced that is the truth? And are you convinced about what you know? I said, yes. They didn't ask me any questions after. I think, and to think that my mother always said, the things you run away from. She'd say, a lot of actresses have gotten married to married men. So, don't ever do something like that. Of course, Siddharth wasn't married when I met him. He was divorced, but whatever it is, I think, but so I think I had their support. My sister and brother-in-law were always like, I think they also met him and they were fully convinced that he's a good guy. They didn't know whether it would work out or not between us. But I think they were like, okay, he's a decent man, and well brought up, well spoken, well mannered, all those things tick the boxes. And I think I was, so my parents were saying, you must get married and you don't know how long, the things that.
Feel pressured as a single woman to be married?
No, I didn't. I didn't at all, because now at least I had someone in my life. And I have to tell you, before that, my parents had started saying, that. I have to tell you a very funny incident. So there are times when, I would feel really lonely, and I stayed with my parents for 33 years until I got married, right? So they knew my ins and outs. If I was dating someone or I liked someone or something didn't work out, not the nitty-gritties, but They knew the amount they needed.
I know a couple of toads you dated.
So they would be like, at one point, my parents started feeling like, oh my God, you're 30 and you've not met anyone. And we lived in Khar, and we just moved to Khar. And Karan's office was right diagonally opposite
The Dharma.
our Khar house. My father one day tells me, I'm going to go to Karan Johar's office and tell him and ask him if he knows any boy he can set you up with. I was like, what? How bizarre. What do you think? What are you doing? I'm your daughter. You can't embarrass me like that. And what is he going to think that how desperate am I? Anyway, that was in some moment of frustration he said it. But guess where?
You met
Guess who
Siddharth.
actually played Cupid? It was Karan. So it's like sometimes you just say things and you don't
The
know.
universe makes it.
Yeah, exactly. So my father always says, see, I could have gone and asked him.
Slightly digressing. You went through the dating phase and all. You also had told me there was a lot of the people you dated were not great for your self-esteem.
Yeah.
So as a very successful, all the motions are the same, right? Whether you're successful, but ultimately we are all looking for validation from strange men
Yeah,
or women,
yeah.
right? So did that sort of uh, hamper your self-confidence, or did it, which leads me to my next question, but self-confidence at that time, did it sort of, like you said, this constant pressure to be married, dating, say somebody, whoever.
And I think also girls especially are stupid. There's a phase that all of us go through where we like the bad boys. We know that we're going to get nothing from them, and yet we like
Everyone's laughing.
being in love with them.
All the girls can resonate.
So it's just a rite of passage. You have to go through that. You have to be treated badly. You have to be humiliated. You have to be, and just accept that this is part of life and move on. But I think it's not, yeah, that is true. No matter how successful you are, I think you want validation from your loved ones, which is why when you're in love with someone, you want that person to value you, to appreciate you. And when that doesn't happen, it just does shatter your self-image. And for someone like me who had anyway, grown up with a lot of body image issues, my self-image was very brittle.
So what's your relationship with your body today?
I'm very grateful to my body for having kept me alive for 46 years. And despite all the hate that I sent its way, I think it's been so kind and compassionate towards me. So today, all I feel for my body is love at any given point of time. No longer do I say, and people keep telling me that, oh, you've shed so much weight. And I shed the weight because I began to love and accept my body. And when I started this, and when I first started working with my healer on this, on loving and accepting my body, because I would be punishing my body all the time. Like all this, right? Rigorous diet regimens and exercise schedules and no sleep and just like sending in bad energy all the time because it was not what I wanted it to be. When I began to change that, it actually got worse initially before it got better.
Okay.
So I think, and now I feel so much lighter mentally and emotionally, which is why I think it's also showing. Of course, it's the inflammation and everything, but I don't think it's just one thing ever. And I
Self-love.
yeah, self-love. And when you begin to love yourself, I think that the first time I began to experience self-love is when Siddharth came into my life. So I really believe that when you begin to love yourself, the world will love you. And at that time I was getting a lot of attention from a lot of men. I'm very happy that
You got the right man.
Yeah, touch wood.
So what do you love and hate most about Siddharth?
What do I love about him? I think on most days, almost everything. There are days when little things.
But how do you resolve a crisis, a problem? How do you like? I mean, do you sulk? Do you talk it out?
I talk about everything, Jitesh. And I think initially he was like, who is this person? Because he's very, whatever he might be going through within, he's very zen on the surface.
How is that?
I don't know. It's just his name is Siddharth. Maybe the clue lies there. The answer lies there. But he's very calm. He's also a very non-judgmental person. One of the most accepting people I've met. Not just about me. I'm saying generally very accepting of people as they are. So I think but not very articulate about feelings. But
does that bother you?
no, now it's in 15 years, I think he's had no choice but to turn. But I'm also very expressive, very demonstrative, reactive. But I think I've also calmed down. I think when you spend so much time together, you do influence each other, right? You pick up things from each other. And I think it's been, but I express everything that I'm feeling. And however tough it is, that's also part of my healing process, right?
Like, give me an example.
For example, if I'm upset with something he said, okay, if I'm upset about the fact that maybe I was hoping for him to, maybe on a particular day, I dressed up in a way that I thought he would notice. Because, for example, he likes my hair open, just to give you an example. And that day, if he doesn't say anything, and it irritates me, I'm like, you've not noticed. It's a very small, it may seem like an inconsequential example, but previously I would be like, oh, why has he not noticed me? You know what? But I realized that it's better to say, listen, I was really, am I not looking nice? Or, I thought I was looking nice today. I say it more like that. I thought I was looking nice today. And then he says, of course you are. Then I'm like, but you didn't say it. I actually, this is just to give you a very...
Yeah.
But I talk about the most uncomfortable things. And I've realized that just talking about it is half the battle won. Of course, it's not just with him, with anyone when any issues show up, right? Sometimes a person may get defensive, sometimes the person may attack you, but actually it just speaking your truth frees you. And then the person may have a reaction, the person may feel bad, the person may sulk, but in a little while the person will realize where you're coming from. And it keeps me really, I don't know if it's a gift of being 40 plus or what, but it's just...
What about like your say insecurity? Say, okay, you're a married human being. You have your daily stuff to. Then you deal with say the movie offers dry up, or say 2-3 films flop, and then this, like an actor told me, what you're paid is for the waiting between movies. So sometimes like you yourself took a 2-3 year sabbatical and then you did movies. So how do you navigate these crests and troughs?
Actually, I've never taken a 2-3 year sabbatical. Just to set the record straight. I had a few OTT releases during the pandemic. So I think a lot of people are not probably, they don't register it as a release. But, you do go through insecurities, and I'm very honest with myself about it. I've learned to become honest with myself. Or I've become more honest with myself, and I say, okay, this is what's happening. Because that insecurity, you may be feeling insecure about, like you said, not getting the kind of offers you want to be getting at a certain point of time. And that will, you'll suddenly begin to look at the entire world through that lens. And anything someone may or may not say or do will be seen through that lens, will be perceived through that lens. So it affects, you know, everything, I think. But largely, I have to say that as thankfully so far, there's never been dearth of work. You know, sometimes it's not the kind of work that you want to be doing. But for example, before Bhool Bhulaiya 3, I hadn't shot for 2 years because I wanted to do an entertaining film. I wanted to do a fun film. And then I got Bhool Bhulaiya 3. And I said, so in the interim, I was, of course, meeting people, reading stories, even exciting ones. But I was like, no, I'm in the mood to do this and I'm going to wait it out. But sometimes the strangest thing, sometimes you read something about someone else and it can trigger something in you. It can,
Like, give me an example.
you suddenly read that there's a certain actor who's doing a series and a movie and is doing something internationally and has got these many brands, and suddenly you're like, oh my God, am I not doing enough? Those kind of things. And then you tell yourself, but that's a choice you've made. But you do go through that. You do go through that. You're like, oh, but maybe if I'd gotten this offer, maybe I would have done it. But I didn't get this particular offer. But also with time, with experience, with maturity, I think those insecurities are lesser, for sure. Anyway, maybe in all fairness, Jitesh, I've not had too many of those insecurities in my career.
Like, have you ever regretted a film that you've let go and it has, gone, it has made waves somewhere else, something like that?
Only one film that I said no to did well in all these years. So I think no.
Will you tell me which film it was?
No, I won't. Because that film did very well and the actor was very loved in it. So I don't want to get into that.
And finally, my favorite question, 20 years in the business, what would you tell your younger self today?
Don't be scared to be yourself. You know, and you know best. You know what's best for you at any given point of time. And even if something doesn't work out, it means you're supposed to have gone through that experience, right? That doesn't mean it was a bad decision. It's just, I feel that, I think we started the interview with that, right? I'm much lighter today. So I wish
You had this wisdom 20 years ago.
lightness then, just this joy then. There was constant, there was pressure to prove a point. And today, when I look back, actually, I don't think it's,
Is it because of the rigidity of our South Indian background that we are geared to achieve, to be achievers?
what
You have to wake up in the
discipline.
morning at
Yeah.
4 o'clock.
Yeah.
If you don't wake up, you're not good enough.
Yeah.
You're constantly told you're not good enough if you don't do this.
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
don't
I
excel.
think so. It is a very tough love kind of upbringing, no?
Tell me, because is there a difference when you work with a female director and a male director? Like, you worked with Anu Menon, you worked only Anu Menon,
Shagua Thakurta.
which
On to Urdu Pyar.
on the other. How nice is that?
Yeah, I love
Nice.
that film.
It's a very sweet film. Is there any like the feminine gaze that people talk about? Is there like a difference?
There is, for sure. I remember, for example, just in the way, for example, Anu Menon never brought up shedding weight when I did Shakuntala. She didn't come and tell me, can you shed some weight for the film, or, you know, for starters, that was a difference. And I just think, I just think there is some difference. It's indefinable.
Like maybe when you do an intimacy sequence, like a woman.
Yeah, Shisha. Oh my God. When um when we did, there was a kiss between Pratik and me in Door Do Pyar, and she told everyone that unless something goes horribly wrong, we are not going to repeat the take. It'll be one take. And we had 3 shots from different magnifications, and that's it. And we did it in 3 takes. So I think they're more,
Create a safer space.
yeah, I think it's also natural, right? Because they know, as women, I think they're just aware of how women feel when, for example, even in the way they, um, like Shisha always made me feel beautiful. Like, and I think they're very aware of how we all feel as women. So I think they come from that. When they're dealing with women, they come from that space. But both these directors are extremely passionate storytellers who knew exactly what they wanted. And they gave it their all, but didn't stop short, you know, they didn't compromise in any way. And I really admire that in terms of getting what they wanted. So it's incredible. But I think storytellers are storytellers. It's always joyful to work with a good
Irrespective of the
storyteller.
gender.
For example, yeah, all the directors I've worked with have been lovely in their own way. Touchwood, I've gotten along with all of them. I have to say, even Sajid Khan on Hey Baby.
Huh?
Yeah, we got along very well then. So,
And now I have an audience here which quickly wants to ask you a few questions. They're fans of
yes.
yours.
Yeah.
So they
Hi, so my question is, how do you choose your scripts today versus when you first started out?
Today, the only thing I'm looking for in a script is that it be a full entertainment package. I'm in that state of mind post the pandemic. I just want to have fun when I go into the theater to watch a film. So that's what I want to do as an actor. Yeah, I think that's what I'm looking for. That's how it's different. Previously, I think I was looking for more nuance. Maybe I will again. I love nuance, but I'm going through a phase where I just want to do out and out entertainers.
Hi. So in the last scene of Bhool Bhulaiya, what was the most difficult part? Was it the expressions, getting into the character, or the dancing?
The dancing.
Bhool Bhulaiya 1 or 2?
One.
1 or 2.
I'm not a dancer. I used to be sent to Bharatnatyam class as a child. The class was on Sunday mornings at 8 o'clock, and I would cry loudly. And that was the one day my father had an off. So finally, he told my mother, "You have to stop sending her to class because I want to sleep on Sundays." She's waking up the household. So I didn't learn dance growing up, unlike every South Indian, respectable South Indian girl. Therefore, I was petrified. I also feel that I've always been so body conscious that when someone asks me to dance, I freeze. And Bharatnatyam is, you have to get the form right, right? So I think my only expressions, I was like that, I thought I'd be able to handle, but it was a dancing. But I trained with Guru Sharda Ganesh, and I trained for a few months before I started, so that held me in good stead. And Vineet, the guy who danced with me, the actor, he was very helpful. Of course, Poni Verma was a choreographer and she really whipped me in that song. But if it's turned out well, it's credit to all of them, nothing to me. Thank you.
Hi Vidya, you have been working in this industry for 20 years now. You have worked with so many actors and directors. Who is that one actor and one director you would love to work with again and again?
Oh God, I want to work with all my directors again. I had a great time. There's Touchwood, there's not one director I've not enjoyed working with. But Rajkumar Santoshi, Priyadarshan, Anees Bhai, Suresh Triveni, Shujoy Ghosh,
Maniratnam.
yeah, Shirsha Guha Thakurta, Maniratnam, everyone, yeah. Everyone, as I want to work with all the directors I've worked with before and work with the ones I haven't worked with. I'm very greedy. Actors, again, I've enjoyed working with everyone, but the one person who has a very special place in my heart is Sanjay Dutt. I love the man, and I don't know whether, yeah, I just feel he's one of the nicest people. He was so nice to me when I started out. I'll never forget that. So I'd love to work with him again.
But well, here's to a far more formidable career, many more wonderful performances which are enshrined in our hearts and minds. Thank you so much. It's
Thank
been a
you.
privilege. Thank you so much.
Didn't feel like an interview. No?
Well, super.
And thank you.
Thank you so much. More power to you. Thank you.
My Safed Sufi.